Threads are a very useful way to automate some of the processes or actions that we take within the project. To demonstrate how this works, we're going to apply a thread that will update our profile string when the constraint is adjusted. So open up the vertical grading editor for your profile string. So we're going to go up to the ribbon and left click somewhere near our profile string on the left side of the existing road. And we're going to make that full screen. At the moment, we are asking the profile to match to the -2% constraint for the first 500 feet, and then for the remainder of the design, match to the -5% constraint. In addition, and we're going to open up Auto Profile, we have also included fitting, which is to say, look, go and try and tidy up the design, weed out some of the points, and apply vertical curves where you can. A thread will rerun that process for us. So if we make adjustments to the centerline of existing road, the constraint will adjust, and then we will ask the thread to go ahead and recheck our design for us. So let's close down the vertical grading editor, and we're going to go up to the Roads tab Workflow panel and click on the Run Threads pull down. And you'll see that we've got a couple of options, Run Threads and Thread Editor. Now we don't have any threads yet, so we're going to click on Thread Editor. So the form is sort of made up of two parts. We've got actions listed on the left-hand side, so telling the software to do something, and on the central part of the form, this is the list of those actions and effectively the thread. So at the very top right-hand corner, we're going to click on the Add button to create a new thread, and we're going to complete it with the following name. So this is saying, go ahead and update my profile string and match to the constraint, and click OK. Optionally, we can add a description underneath, and we can also add this to our global library. So if this is a constraint that is going to be used fairly generically across multiple projects, you can add that. All we're going to do is add one action, and this is called Compute Vertical Geometry, and this is in effect saying, open up the auto profile and rerun it for me. So we're going to click on down the bottom, Add Action, and then it'll ask us, well, which string would you like to run the auto profile from? So as we scroll down the list, we should see existing road offset left side. This is our profile string in which the auto profile has the constraint content. We're going to click on Add Action, and that's all we're going to do. That's our thread. So rather than opening up the vertical grading editor for the profile string, clicking on Auto Profile, clicking Apply and Exit, then closing them all down, we can run this run command and it will do it for us. So to show you how this works, we're going to click on Close down the bottom right hand corner. We're going to make an adjustment to the vertical design of existing road, which in turn will make an adjustment to the constraint. So we're going to open up the vertical grading for existing road. And we're going to zoom in roughly to where we've been before, which is sort of around the 500, 600 feet area, and do the same on the vertical grading editor. To show you an extreme example of how this works, we're going to adjust the PVI that's located at roughly 480, and we're going to move that up. Why we wouldn't normally do this if we're designing is a great way of seeing the effect on the constraint. So I'm moving this up by a generic amount and left clicking to fix that. Now, you can see in the drawing we've had some change. The profile string won't have adjusted. So let's quickly open up the vertical design for the profile string just to see the impact of the constraint. Clearly, you can see the crown or the centerline of existing road in red, and then the new constraint values. Now typically what we'd be doing in this point is going back to Auto Profile and adjusting, whereas we can actually run a thread to do this. So to start off with, let's reduce the size of the vertical grading editor. If you're running multiple screens, feel free to just move it onto an alternative. In my case, I'm just going to simply shrink down the size so we can see what's happening. From the ribbon, we're going to go to the Threads pull down and click on Run Threads. We've got the single thread that we've created. We're going to click on Update String to Match Constraint and click on Compute Thread. The vertical grading editor for our profile string updated with the auto profile being rerun in the background to match onto the constraint. The problem is that the line work in the drawing hasn't updated, nor has the surface. So we actually need to go and adjust the thread. We're going to close down Compute Thread, go back to the Threads pull down, click on Thread Editor. There's a couple of additions we need to add to this particular thread. Firstly, we need to get the software, once it's made the adjustment to the profile string, to go ahead and adjust the line work. So this is done by the following button, Compute All Road Objects. Now that's the same button, the red tick found on the Edit panel. So we click on Add Action, click on Add Action again, and once we've updated the line work, we then need the total model surface to also update, to use that line work and update itself. So let's click on the Compute Surface option, click on Add Action, and we'll go and choose Total Model and make sure it's at the bottom of the list. The computation order is very important. Click on Add Action. So what's going to happen here is when we run the thread, the vertical grading editor will go and recheck whatever we have in auto profile, which in this case is to match the constraint. Once it's done that, in the drawing, globally, it will go and update all of the line work, which we have no problem with. Then it's going to go and recheck total model and make sure that's all up to date. Now let's just see what happens when we click on Compute Thread. We can do that directly from the thread editor. As we do that, the thread will obviously rerun the profile, which is already matching, but then afterwards it's then gone and updated the surface for us. Let's now see how we can apply this in a different scenario and the roundabout at the north of the job.